Hey, Richest Money Maniacs, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about BlackRock and Bitcoin futures. Ooh, let's get right to it. Hey, Richest Money Maniacs, welcome back. Tom coming at you. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a very exciting topic for you today. We found this amazing article about BlackRock becoming involved in Bitcoin futures. Now, if you're not sure who BlackRock is, let me remind you. They are one of the largest funds on the planet. They also happened to get the largest chunk of money from one of the first stimulus packages that went through the US government for the COVID relief funds. And of course, it was all marked as confidential, and we don't know what happened to that money. BlackRock is the conduit for the Federal Reserve to be able to dump money into the stock market to prop it up. Because of course, as we all have discussed before, the stock market is completely manipulated. Now, and of course, now you know how and why. With GameStop and with the silver market and all of this short squeeze and puts and calls and all that stuff in the futures and derivatives markets, now people are starting to actually learn their financial mastery, learn their financial techniques and how money works. They're being forced to learn, and it's painful because they're losing money and they're wondering, why am I losing money? Because these things happen, because it's a manipulated market. So all you money maniacs out there, you have been doing your research and you understand what I say when I say puts and calls and shorts and long and derivatives and futures and all those things. You understand that that is how they manipulate the market. You put a short on a stock and the price goes down. Things like that, especially if you have enough money to do it, like BlackRock. But this is just the beginnings of the futures market in Bitcoin. Now, this is not, remember something, Bitcoin itself is a cryptocurrency. It has its own marketplace. It has its own value. It's important to understand that Bitcoin has its own futures market. And this is something that people have been testing very tentatively because Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general are so volatile. Plus, a lot of people still aren't sure if these cryptocurrencies are going to stay around. In fact, watch my video where I discuss that India is now talking about banning all other cryptocurrencies except the cryptocurrency that its own central bank creates. Really convenient when you can make the rules to make the rules so that you win. So if you're the government, you're making the rules so that you always win and everybody else just has to fall in line because they have the gold and they have the guns and they will throw you in jail. That's what it comes down to. Doesn't matter how smart you think you are. It doesn't matter how cool you think Bitcoin is or how unfair it is to do that. That is what they always do. So that's why I encourage my money maniacs to do your homework, to learn this stuff, and then to step aside so you don't get hit with stuff like that. So let's get into this article, shall we? The article comes from The Block, and it was published on January 20th, so it's really recent. BlackRock filings suggest asset management giant could buy Bitcoin futures via certain funds, by Michael McSweeney. Good name. Twin filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, suggest that BlackRock, the trillion-dollar asset management giant, is set to make allocations to Bitcoin futures via some of its funds. The two filings for the BlackRock Funds 5 and BlackRock Global Allocations Fund Incorporated contain the same language that refer to Bitcoin futures. They both read, certain funds may engage in future contracts based on Bitcoin. The filings dated January 20th outline potential risks for such activities, noting, quote, a fund's investment in Bitcoin futures may involve illiquidity risk, as Bitcoin futures are not as heavily traded as other futures, given that the Bitcoin futures market is relatively new. End quote. BlackRock added that, quote, the only Bitcoin futures in which the funds may invest are cash-settled Bitcoin futures traded on commodities exchanges registered with the CFTC, end quote. To be sure, the filings themselves don't definitively say that BlackRock funds are on the cusp of buying Bitcoin future, But such filings have been known to predate these kinds of moves, indicating that BlackRock is at least laying down the regulatory tracks to conduct allocations if it so chooses. Last month, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink remarked during a panel appearance that Bitcoin is gaining legitimacy as an asset class, but cautioned that we have to go through many markets to see if it's going to be permanently real. As a final note here, this is interesting. BlackRock is also seeking to hire a blockchain lead, a vice president level role. Okay, so all you money maniacs out there that want a vice president role with BlackRock, now's your time to apply. So keep something in mind. Funds that are large like that are not required to disclose where they invest their money. Think about that. You have to report everything on your taxes. These guys invest trillions of dollars into the marketplace, billions, trillions, and no one knows where it goes until they start to complain about losing too much money from a situation like GameStop. And then we all come to realize that they've been gambling very dangerously. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, if things go wrong for BlackRock, the Federal Reserve and the federal government of the United States of America will step in and bail them out. However, all you money maniacs out there, they don't care what happens to you. So just keep that in mind. Now, here's what's important about the idea of these kinds of large hedge funds and companies and banks betting on the futures market of Bitcoin, not buying Bitcoin itself, but betting on it going up or down. Here's why that's vital information for you to understand as a money maniac. Because that's exactly how they manipulate the price of stocks, silver, and gold and other commodities right now across the board. So literally what they're telling you with this move is get ready. We're getting ready to manipulate the price of Bitcoin, whether you like it or not. And you're not going to be able to stop us. So now, instead of Bitcoin being a good investment that you can be sure if more people go in, put money in, it'll go up. Now it's going to be like silver and gold. You won't know for sure if the price is actually going to go up. It'll only be allowed to go up if BlackRock or the Fed or the federal government or other large hedge funds stop putting shorts on it. And they can afford to do that to the tune of trillions of dollars all day long forever and then still go bankrupt because they'll be bailed out by the government. And they don't care if you don't make money off the Bitcoin or not. They don't care if you're holding Bitcoin and they're artificially keeping the price low because, well, they want you to use the Federal Reserve currency, the Federal Reserve cryptocurrency. They don't want to do what India is doing where they make it illegal to use other currencies. They just want to make it really difficult for you to be able to use other currencies. In fact, so difficult and so almost completely irresponsible because the value of it is so low that why would you ever bother? The Federal Reserve cryptocurrency is worth way more. I'm going to stay with the Federal Reserve cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. That was so 2020. That was so, I don't even want anything to do with cryptocurrencies other than the Federal Reserve one because it's worth so much more now. Look at it. That's how you manipulate a market. That's what you're seeing. This is the beginning, I guarantee you, of other large funds funded by the Federal Reserve and the federal government of the United States of America to be able to rein in Bitcoin. That's how they're going to do it, just like the way they do it with silver, just like the way they do it with gold, just like the way they do it with every single stock on the stock market. You watch. Mark my words. Mark down the date this video went out, and then we'll come back to it 5 years from now, and let's see what happens. All right, everybody, I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope at least you'll keep your eyes and ears open to new information about this. Make sure you do your homework. All you richest you money maniacs out there, you know you have to do your own homework. I'm only offering you my own opinion and the little bit of information that I have right now. But at least now you're aware of it. So you can go look at it. Now, if this video was valuable to you, please give us a thumbs up, and obviously please subscribe to the channel on whichever platform you're on, whether it be Library or Odyssey or on Rumble, and soon hopefully BitChute, and of course brand new tube. And of course, brand new tube also eventually. We're getting on there too. So please subscribe to those channels so that we can get more information to you. And even better, if you disagree or you agree or you just like the video or you hated the video, give us a comment below. I love having conversations with folks. Thank you so much for watching. And for all the money maniacs out there, you know how I'm going to end. The golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. So go get that gold. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
That was shorter.